Hi, guys. Welcome back to Wild Speculations. I'm Daniel.
I'm Scott.
Tonight we talk about Critical Role Campaign 3, Episode 22, Promise and Potential.
Yes.
Uh,
Solid episode.
Yep, and I basically just was ticking off everything that I said was going to happen.
Nice.
In the episode. Kind of a long one. But some important happenings.
Yeah.
Ashley joins us remotely for
Yes.
this episode on a green screen.
Yep.
And it took me too long to realize that they were putting what's in the window behind her.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was about halfway through my rewatch that I noticed that.
Oh, well, okay. Then not too long, then. I don't think I picked up on it, like, consciously until close to break. I think.
Yeah.
It may have been a little before that, but...
I was super tired during my first watch. So,
yeah.
My first watch through was mostly just listening to it.
Yeah.
Yes. Happy birthday to Marisha. Today is her birthday.
We had a slight rewind. Retcon, casualty of fast travel, where FCG watches Imogen sleep.
But not in a creepy way. Although that raises the question, can you watch someone sleep in a not creepy way? I mean, unless you're a parent watching your child sleep.
Yeah, I don't know. And she fingers her pouch.
Yeah.
They get to town and get their rooms.
Yeah.
And they couldn't seem to agree on who was going to sleep where.
Yeah.
And you can tell that there wasn't going to be anything happening because Matt didn't ask for clarification before any sleeping started.
Yeah, do you think Ashley picked up on that, or do you think Ashley just didn't care? Given the events of her watch.
I don't think she cared.
I agree.
Because even if she had been sleeping in a different room, she would have gone into the other room. Also, when you're taking watches, that tends to mean you're all sleeping in the same room.
Yeah.
Which means they did pay for another room that they probably didn't use.
Yeah, no, what I meant is with her going ahead and knocking off and going back to sleep with 2 hours of her watch left. With a couple hours, an hour or whatever. Watch left.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I'm done with my mischief. I'm just going to go to sleep. Or was that dictated by her low roll?
No, I mean, you can roll with it anyway, either way, whether she was just too enamored with what was happening on Ashton's skull, or she was just, I'm going to go to sleep. And largely, I think she volunteered for a watch just so she could do that.
Oh, 100%.
Not because she felt that they needed a watch, which is also, I think, behind why she went to sleep. But yeah, so good. I love that Travis couldn't read his hit list. Tia, the owner of the Emporium, do you think he tries to kill her this time before they leave, or do you think that just becomes a running gag?
I think it becomes a running gag, personally.
Okay.
And unless she provokes him,
I mean, she arguably provoked him enough to be put on a list.
Did she, though? Is everyone on a list guilty of provoking?
Yes. Whether their offense is worthy that you would put them on your list is immaterial. They did something to make that list.
Fair, but okay.
I mean,
I'm not going to argue that.
some people are extra petty. My favorite part of Fern watching Ashton sleep was
Yeah, that was the best part.
and I can't wait for it to come up.
Yeah.
For somebody else to see it. And I think Taliesin can't wait either. Because he was enjoying the hell out of
I can't wait till they're on the road and the humidity hits and
Yep. Or the sunlight hits it just right.
Yep.
Yeah. It's going to be so good.
I'm still of the opinion, though, that FCG saw the profile of Ashton's head, and that's what he thought was the one-eyed monster.
I'm still on the Nothic idea. But a beholder also makes sense.
Yeah.
And we haven't had a beholder fight in a long time.
Since Craghammer.
Yeah.
Which was the very beginning of the stream, or near it.
Yeah. They're lower level than they were in Craghammer.
Yeah.
So it'd be a really tough fight.
But there are beholders that are lower CR than a beholder with artifact of an evil god attached to its head.
True. We get to Hexham.
Yes.
Where they get paid. And Fern calls in the... You said I could take that statue if we did a good job. And Hexham's going, if you can carry it, sure.
23?
Well, that was Ashton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8 was Fern.
Yeah. FCG gets examined by Hexham. And he is made very uncomfortable by the process.
Yeah, he played it off like it was a fetish. I think it was more of exploitive capitalist intrigue.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's more exploitive than necessarily capitalist. It's more honestly, especially with what we learn about the distilled dunamis and all of that. I'm pretty sure she's probably got connection with the Cerberus Assembly. I mean, where else are you going to get distilled dunamis? And by extension, did Yeza inadvertently have a hand in saving Ashton? He's the one that pioneered the distilled dunamis.
Interesting, yeah. But the other place that they could be getting it from is Drow Boy, Essek.
Maybe. I don't remember. I mean, I wouldn't put him past him once he learned about Distilled Dunamis, but I don't remember him doing anything that implied he would try that on his own, you know?
Fair. But, like, it's obviously happening, which means either Essek is doing it or Ludinus is.
Mm-hmm.
Or even Caleb. Or Veth and Yeza may be doing it.
Yeah.
Because Yeza could be the source of that.
Yeah. Just of all those people, the Cerberus Assembly seems the most likely that she would do business with. They seem to have similar personality archetypes.
It's fair.
At least that's the group of those options that I think she would get along with the best.
Yeah. She has, she has a similar way about her to
the doppelganger.
No, the one that they were carrying around in the necklace.
Yeah, she was a doppelganger. Remember, I read you that on
Oh,
the
yeah,
Explorer's
that's right,
Guide to
yeah.
Wilde now when we were talking about her. I forget her name, but yeah. Yeah, the one that Lucian killed.
Yeah. So maybe it's her brought back, maybe.
Maybe.
Or close enough in attitude to be friendly with her.
Yeah. That could have been her initial connection to the Cerberus Assembly, and now she's getting dunamis from them. That's where my mind went.
And also potentially why she relies on automatons for service rather than people.
Yeah. Because
doppelgangers can't copy automatons. We learned that Ashton grinds their teeth.
Yep.
And Chetney offers to make him a mouth guard, a wooden mouth guard, which gets a chuckle at the table because Travis has a mouth guard because he grinds his teeth. So yeah, it's interesting because I am unaware, not that I have a deep background in dental history, but I'm unaware of any like wooden mouth guards ever being used. Teeth, yes, but not mouth guards. Through the magic blender, yeah. One more thing. Buy now. Which, if he wanted to secure external plan B, C, and D, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
We don't know why she's importing it, though. Which may be what we are going to find out at some point, but it seems like I'm trying to. It's hard to determine what side of the line it's coming from, whether it's Taliesin or Matt is setting up for a revenge story for Ashton.
Yeah.
and we get flashbacks of that, and later we get more flashbacks. And one of the things that the first image that Matt narrates Ashton seeing is him holding somebody's hand.
Yeah.
And I for whatever reason, I don't know, but I flashed onto The Force Awakens. Because that was a big imprinted moment for Rey.
Yeah.
But it seemed to be before he became an Earth Ganassi.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So, yeah. Too disparate, I think, to put anything together at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
Except, of course, that it was the distilled dunamis part of what Milo was doing that helped bring Ashton back, which is how Taliesin is flavoring how he got his powers.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and we speculated back when we first found out about his subclass that it could be a Dunamatic barbarian.
Yeah.
You know, it was the space, time, gravity.
Yeah. Imogen floats the idea to Ashton. You know, me and FCG, we did this thing where we were reading each other's minds. Maybe we could do that with you.
Yeah.
And
that almost feels like a bonus episode kind of thing. Just them going in and the adventure being walking through the memories.
We're getting closer to that, I think. I don't know if Matt has that on his agenda, as it were.
Right.
But it would not surprise me that them putting this forward and them doing it, and the potential of whatever threshold Matt sets in his mind for all of them, like if they get maybe one more person that they do that with, maybe that will trigger something where they will all share in this dream. And it's a really strong potential if they do this for Matt to really put all of their backstories in a blender and pull pieces out of it.
Yeah.
To make it a truly weird thing that all of them have some connection to, and it's how all their backstories weave together. I think there's a really strong opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
And to have it feel almost like a bottle episode. Not unlike the Happy Fun Ball.
Yeah.
So I know Matt can do it. I just don't know if he'll do it.
Yeah.
But if they want to fix Ashton, Detect Thoughts is the wrong spell.
Yes.
They need Dispel Magic.
Well,
or Modify Memory. Because if his memory was modified with Modify Memory, they can Dispel Magic to remove the effect. Or they can cast Modify Memory and undo.
Yes, But if what has happened to him is just like physical trauma,
TBI.
brain trauma, detect thoughts and digging deeper, you might uncover those repressed memories, which would allow and it would basically fit up FCG's. I'm a therapist, not a priest.
Yeah.
Alley.
If they want to go that it's more TBI than modify memory, greater restoration might be what they need.
Yeah.
So, interesting possibility. And maybe that's why Matt began with the early memory.
Mm-hmm.
Is to show him that, because I was under the impression that it was modified memory that was cast on him by Hexam.
Mm.
But it may not be. It may be more a case of repressed memory.
Yeah. Although if it is modified memory by Hexam, then that could lead into my theory that he took out Dancer and the crew, and that's why he saw this profile and thought it was one eye instead of the...
Yeah.
And then modify Ashton's memory so he doesn't realize,
that he killed them. Yeah. Them discussing whether or not Hexam just has a kink for Automatia, and Laudna chiming in, I'm a dead girl. People definitely have kinks.
And that was a meta reference to Laudna's popularity among the fandom, I think.
You think so?
That's how I thought. That's what my brain thought. Because have there been a lot of people hitting on her in game?
No, that's true. I just took it as Marisha putting in, like, she had 30 years of wandering the woods.
Yeah.
She talked about her first love being Whitestone Andy.
Yeah.
But
I never said that was her only love.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In fact, defining it as her first love implies that there have been other loves.
Exactly. So I think that's just her putting in that bit. And I don't...
Okay.
Not that she has defined anything in particular, I don't think, in her backstory for that.
Right.
But... yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Rose. That's why I was like, how do I exploit this to my benefit?
Yeah, I don't think it was a kink for Hexam either.
I think that was Sam playing it out to be that. Although the asking out on a date was kind of funny part. And the throwback to Pretty.
So we've talked about Measure of a Man before in regards to FCG.
Yes.
The Star Trek The Next Generation episode. And one of the things you said earlier tonight reminded me of one of Guinan's lines in the episode. A race of disposable people.
Mm.
Which is when Picard, like, really, when it really hits home for Picard what is at stake if he can't win this for Data.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling Hexam may be Maddox.
Okay.
In that episode. Who, later, we learn through Star Trek Picard, continues his work and creates all of the synths that rebel and kill a bunch of people on Mars.
Mm.
That the first season is sort of, that's the overarching
Gotcha.
So she may fit that mold in the story for FCG, in the sense that she's somebody that shows Aor, why they created the Aormatons, and potentially the struggle that happened way back then in the Age of Arcanum, or what may have been like a Cylon-esque uprising may have been prevented by the Cataclysm.
Yeah.
So, interesting thought. We get confirmation, as I speculated last week, that their trip out of Drusar towards the other cities is going to go through FCG's backstory.
Oh, there's so much going in that direction. You've got FCG's backstory. It's the same direction as Eos, which is where Orm and Imogen both wanted to go.
Yep.
It's on the way to Imogen's home. Treshy might be there. Possibly the OG Nobodies.
Yeah.
And the Gorgonites.
Yeah. Like I said, Matt's done his background homework this campaign.
Yeah.
To put everybody in the same line. All of your backstories go this way.
Southeast if you want to go to your backstories, all right? Anybody's backstory is southeast of here.
Yeah. And Jangdor, yeah, I didn't actually watch any of Picard.
I've been. I wasn't going to subscribe to Peacock just for Picard.
Yeah. Same. Or Discovery for that matter. But yeah. Chetney posits that the reason Hexa may be interested is that FCG might be soul bonded.
Yeah.
Or a soul bonded to a machine. A alternate means of getting immortality. To bring it back to Picard.
Upload yourself to a robot. Very comic book trope.
Yes.
You mentioned the dead girl kink. And I realized everybody has an extremely close major death in their backstory. Now, yes, that can be a D&D trope, but Laudna, Ashton was almost dead, mostly dead. If we're right that Dancer just refurbished FCG, and because he is an Aormaton, he died and was brought back. Orm's husband, Laudna's mother, Fern's grandma is basically the archfey of death, or at least named after a goddess of death.
Yeah.
The only one that hasn't brought up a major death is Chetney, but he's always talking about killing people.
Well, I mean,
Bertrand Bell died to bring them together.
Yeah. It's how they all relate to death, I think, is going to be important, which is why, well, other than a major death is common through all three campaigns, through all of the characters. But yeah. We get the Avicii silver mine talked about. And we mentioned this a long time ago when we first learned that FCG was found on a job clearing out a mine. And I talked about how silver being important in a lot of extraplanar stuff, and also platinum. And in campaign 1, it was a platinum mine that Vox Machina cleared out of, I believe they termed it an aborted celestial.
Yes.
So, yeah. And then, of course, Craghammer with the Beholder with the Horn of Orcus.
Yep.
So, it will be interesting to see what they do. And I was thinking about it in discussing with people on Twitter about some of their problems with this season or this campaign, that they just can't get into it for whatever reason. And how campaign 1 was their favorite, or some people it was campaign 2. But I made the point of saying, campaign 1 started around episode 40.
Yeah. Because
it wasn't until about episode 40 that they hit 8th level in campaign 2.
Yeah.
So when we met Vox Machina, all of the awkward interplay that can sometimes happen that can put people off already happened.
Yeah.
Like when we met Vox Machina, they were a well-oiled machine, as well-oiled as they could be.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, the Mighty Nine, we saw that process all the way through, and then when we had the Vox Machina versus Mighty Nine, you see how their play styles changed.
Yeah.
And how much of a
to that.
well-oiled machine the Mighty Nine were versus Vox Machina.
Yeah.
So, well, and Rose, Fern Laudna were the two characters, because one of the complaints that I saw on the thread was that everyone is more emo this time. They're more woe is me kind of thing. I don't necessarily see that.
Yeah, I don't get that vibe.
But I made
get the emo aesthetic. I don't get the woe is me vibe.
Yeah. Liam approves. My point for Fern and Laudna, the two seeming fan base favorites, they're not.
Yeah.
And that maybe that's why. Everyone else is bouncing off of.
Yeah, for me it's Laudna, Ashton, and Orem are my top 3. And in that order.
Laudna, Fern, and Imogen, I think, for me. I don't know. Orem is a great.
I think
he's a venue for member berries. He's an avenue for member berries. But
I don't know. Maybe it's. I feel like we know Orem a little bit better than the rest, except for maybe Fern, because they were in EXU. We learned, and maybe it's just that it's Liam. Liam's characters are always in my top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I connect with Liam as a player, so I'm more attached to his characters than I normally would be.
Oh.
Because I feel like he and I are, of all the casts, I feel like he's the one I'm most similar to in play style.
I think it was Four-Sided Dive. where he was quoting Shakespeare again.
Hmm.
And I was just like, I love that man.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the episode.
Thank you. They get some magic items, including one of your favorites.
The portable hole.
Yes.
Yeah. So good. Well, before we go there,
Okay.
Because we just skipped over Estros and
Sure.
the werewolf chat. But we get Estros practicing and him giving them a letter.
Yep.
Which they all sort of greedily, me. Give it to me. And he gives it to Marisha, opens it. She reads it, and she goes, oh, no, you need to read this.
You're a better dictator. What's Andrian for Freudian? Best line.
Yeah. And it's from Lady Vexalia de Rollo. Thanking them for sending them Bertrand.
Yes.
And not going down the suspicious route. That we joked that they could possibly do. Orm's like, oh yeah, that wasn't a bad impression. That's actually what she sounds like.
Sounds a lot like her.
Wait, you know this person with these bunch of titles behind her?
I've seen her, heard her speak, been in the room. I was in the corner. I was a guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah. Orm's connected to the power players of Exandria.
Yeah. 6 degrees of separation, I think, is what they're going with in this campaign.
Well, really, if you're connected to Orm, it's only 2 degrees.
Fair. We get a new map that they're excited to see. Treshy ran away.
Yep.
And they want to hunt him down for some reason. And they're going to use the airship.
Yep.
To chase him down and go north.
And then there's a big discussion about whether or not they should crash the ship. Please don't crash my airship.
Yeah. We get a werewolf download.
Yep.
Now I'm blanking on the name of the people that Chetney's trying to
get. School. Oh, the Gorga.
Yeah, Gorgo. There we go.
Gorgo. Yeah.
Yep.
It keeps slipping my mind because Sam made the same joke that I thought when I first heard it about the Gorgonites from Toy Soldiers, the movie.
Yeah. But they finally confront Chetney over losing control.
Yep.
Which Liam said threatened from Orm that they were going to do it on the way back. And since that became a victim of fast travel,
yep,
this became the natural point for that to happen.
Yep.
And Chetney's like, well, so long as you keep me healed up, it's not a problem. Which is probably the most gangster thing that anyone has ever said within that party, ever.
Yeah.
If you don't want to see the bad side, you give me some loving. So we'll see how that goes.
I love when he was going up and trying to get in. He was all like, yeah, I met him at a ball. We talked. He said to meet him at my early... And I am convenienced. It's like, okay, damn.
Yeah. But yes, Marwa's trolled. I loved the way Matt presented these items.
Yes.
As basically somebody pawned them to her. And she's like, I don't know if it's a murder. How did she put it? A murder apron.
Yeah.
She didn't know exactly what it was, just that it wouldn't stop bleeding. They offered to identify it for her. And in the meantime, she tempts them with the portable home.
Yeah. They came from the same place. There might be bodies in there.
I kind of wish that there had been.
Me too.
Because that would have been hilarious. Yeah. And I'm going to have to remember that.
Yeah.
But interesting point of narration. And I don't know if I like it more than the way that I run the portable hole for you guys.
Okay.
When she lays it out, they can't see into the hole.
Yeah.
You can put your hand in, and Fern does eventually go into it.
Mm-hmm. And she can see them out through.
Yes, she can see out through, fine. But they can't see her.
Yeah.
I thought that's an interesting way to do that I hadn't considered.
And it's also great if it is a murderer's place. Oh, see, no bodies. It's just go on in, check it out if you want. Boom, fold up. Don't gotta worry about that guy anymore. 11 minutes later, I can open it.
Well, they can punch their way out, but
yeah,
yeah. But it adds to the creep factor, the mystery.
Yeah.
Of this item. Where when you guys opened up your portable hole, I describe it as you can see into it. It's a cylinder. You
correct.
So I don't know. Like I say, I don't know which way I like better. I think atmospheric, keeping it black, just a black spot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Might be better, but
yeah.
Yeah, and I was also thinking Looney Tunes. Trying my best not to say it, but yes, it's definitely more Looney Tunes. Which is, ironically, that kind of stuff is done to save money on animation.
Yeah.
So maybe Matt did it for that reason too, on the expectation that maybe one day they will be animating Campaign 3.
Yeah.
And so he's going to cut them a break on the portable hole stuff. But yeah, they were not incorrect that they're going to get a ton of use out of that portable hole.
Yeah.
It is arguably better than Bag of Holding.
Yes.
It's a little more cumbersome to access what's inside.
Yes.
Than a Bag of Holding. But
weighs less.
Yeah. And you can definitely keep creatures in it.
Yeah.
A limited amount of time. Unless you're a robot, like FCG.
Yeah.
Or one of the players in the campaign.
Was a Warforged.
So we need to sneak around. FCG is the only one that has disadvantage on stealth. I think.
Yes.
FCG in the hole. Hold up. Sneak. Out of the hole.
Yep.
So yeah, they're gonna get so much use out of the thing. It's yeah. Do you think Matt put that item in there. One, to give them a storage spot, but also an item that was sufficiently rare enough to drain their money again.
Probably. It is a resource
'Cause-
management game.
Because that's one of the things that I thought of was, funny that they find a magic item that is so much that they all have to chip in to buy it. And Fern really wanted that apron. Everyone else was like, I was like, oh no, I'll take it.
Yeah. It's an interesting item. It's out of the Tal'Dorei book.
Yep.
Reborn.
Butcher's Bib.
Yes. Butcher's Bib.
It basically gives them savage attacker though, right? They get to reroll damage dice.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, Rose, I don't necessarily try to do that. In fact, more often than not, I'll just randomly pull things and be like, okay, it's got this and this, and I don't care how much money my players because they either can afford it or they are now motivated to go get more gold. But yeah, I never think about it to siphon money, but would you say I am notorious for not giving out a bunch of money and items?
Especially items, but yes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty free with the low end stuff. Some of the more common, uncommon magic items. The higher up stuff, I'm pretty stingy about.
There you go. Snoopy agrees. I'm stingy with loot, but I don't give it out often. But when I do, I like to dump it and just do like a massive thing. And whether or not they can use any of it, I also don't give much.
Yeah, and see where I'm more of the, how can I twist this and make it interesting?
Fair.
I probably shouldn't say too much since I'm running the current campaign.
Yeah, since I've retired from Sunday running, yeah. But yeah.
And you're a player and Snoopy's a player.
Yeah. I didn't think about.
That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah. Rolling a d20, anything under a 5 is sold already. That's good. Because that's one of the things that I've struggled with in the past when I've set up a magic shop. Is what gets sold when.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea. Zudana is not dead yet. And every time they see her, they think she's going to die.
I feel happy. I think I'll go for a walk. And just what comes to my mind. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But I'm glad you.
Yes. I have that scene as one of my alarm sounds. So yeah, that tickles me that you connect that. That's good. But we get the 3-way mind meld.
Yeah.
And as I had expected earlier when she first suggested it, it comes to naught.
Yeah.
The only thing they get is they are now witness to that flashback that he had earlier.
Yep.
And I think he added a couple more things.
Yeah.
And FCG casts Calm Emotions on Ashton.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as he drops it, Ashton loses his shit and starts punching the wall.
Yep.
Which does put more evidence that it's repressed memories.
Yeah.
Rather than modify memory. Because having that kind of violent reaction to that kind of thing. So, yeah. We'll see. Orem sends to Dorian.
Yep.
Who tells Orem about a floating bar. And says, I'll tell you later.
Yep. Shit got crazy. Floating bar. I'll tell you later.
I don't think Matt gave it enough time.
For what?
For the timelines to match up again, in that sense.
Okay.
Because I think it took, in EXU, I think she said it took him like 3 weeks to get there.
Mm.
And they've only been out of Drusar, like, Dorian only left them like 9 or 10 days ago.
Interesting.
So, I mean, as continuity errors go, it's not a horrible one.
In a world of Dunamancy.
Yeah. It's been 4 or 5 episodes for them, I think, since Dorian left. So I think Matt, in his brain at the moment, was like, it's got to be enough time has passed.
Oh, the travel was a week each way.
I thought it was only 4 days.
I thought it was a week. I have to go back and rewatch.
I'm pretty sure it was only 4 days.
Okay.
I mean, I could be wrong, but
I mean, they didn't definitely spend a whole week plus in the town.
No.
Either way. So.
No. And I could also be misremembering how long she said it had been.
Yeah.
For Dorian, and Abria may have been incorrect.
Yeah.
In the sense of how long it took, but I don't think they would make that mistake. I think that's one of the things that she would want to get right.
It's a big enough plot hole or continuity error for people to speculate about. It's not big enough to really matter in the long run.
Fair. I didn't talk about it last time because it slipped my mind. And I didn't talk about it in detail. But you have some stuff about their level up.
Yes. This was their first session at level 6.
Yep.
I looked on crit roll stats. Chetney and Fern are each Rogue 1. Bloodhunter 5, Druid 5 respectively, Rogue 1.
Which means Fern is never going to be an Archdruid.
Nope.
Which is, I think, the biggest thing coming out of that.
I am assuming that Fern took her proficiency in sleight of hand. And probably one of her expertises.
Yeah.
Which jumps her from a +2 to a +8.
Yeah.
Not sure what the other expertise is.
Animal handling?
Maybe. For Mr.
Yeah.
Chetney. I'm assuming stealth is one of them that he's got expertise in now. Because he's always trying to be sneaky.
Yeah. And his woodworking tools is probably what he took the other expertise on.
Yeah, that was my thought as well. And they both now know thieves can't now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh no. Love letters and thieves can't.
Yep. Yeah, they are definitely on the road to something.
Yeah.
Whether it's a full-blown relationship or a one-night stand, they're on their way to something.
Travis is pushing it hard now.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ashley put it out there already. She's like, I'm going to go through all of you.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Orem, 6th level fighter, gets an ASI.
Yep.
According to crit roll stats, it's something that gives him a +1 wisdom, but it's unconfirmed. I think
it's observant.
Yeah.
Which will push his passive perception to like between 22 and 25.
Yeah.
Because if you have advantage, you get +5. And observant says you have +5. So
I want to say it's 26. So you've got 10, +5 for observant, +5 for the advantage. Proficiency bonus that's 20. Proficiency bonus is 3.
Yeah.
And I believe he either has a +2 or a +3 wisdom.
Yeah.
So that's 25 or 26.
Yeah. 25
on the low end.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's observant because it plays into him investigating
and always clocking things that are happening and taking everything in.
Yeah, and it's also kind of nice to have that with his shield, because his shield gives him advantage on normal perceptions.
Yep.
So his normal perception checks now will be in the range of his passive.
Yeah.
More often.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which means Matt almost doesn't have to ask anymore.
Yeah.
If there's light, Orem sees it.
Yep. Now he's just, got to get something that gives him dark vision.
Yeah.
Laudna, 4th level in sorcerer, got a feat. It says unknown feat. Her stats didn't change, so it's not a half feat. Not sure what that is.
I think Warcaster.
See, I thought that, but I don't know. That's just a useful feat for any caster.
Well, the reason why I say Warcaster is because she's got Eldritch Blast that she can cast. Because Warcaster, you can cast a spell as an opportunity attack. So,
yeah.
And Warcaster, Spell Sniper, they pair well together. So, yeah, I think my guess is Warcaster, but I don't know, because Warcaster is a popular choice for them.
It's a popular choice. It is a good feat. To me, it just doesn't feel. It's not a feel that vibes with Laudna. You know what I mean?
Except she has different ways of cashing in on her undead fortitude.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Okay.
Not that she's a big warrior and has spent a lot of time fighting, but just it's how she's flavoring.
I can see it, but it's just,
Skulker.
Skulker is one I thought about.
Good one, Snoopy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible, yeah.
And since she doesn't have dark vision, dim light wouldn't impose disadvantage.
Yeah. And if she misses with the ranged attack, she's still hidden.
Yeah. Yeah, Skulker and Spell Sniper are a great duo.
God, yeah. Jesus. Because she's got the superior dark vision from Shadow Sorcerer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even in the dark, no disadvantage on perception checks.
Yeah.
Because it's treated as dim light, and dim light does not impose disadvantage for a skulker.
Yeah, that's...
I think that's the most powerful choice.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. For what she's doing right now, yeah.
Imogen, 6th level, Aberrant Mind. Through the subclass, she's getting resistance to psychic damage, advantage against Charmed and Frightened, and the Psionic spellcasting, where anything off of her Psionic spells list, she can cast with sorcery points, requiring no components, no material components, no verbal or somatic gestures. She can just, boop, it's done. Detect thoughts, mind sliver.
Dissonant whispers.
Yep. All of
Wow.
that can be done with just her mind now. Ashton, 6th level barbarian. That's a pretty unimpressive level for them. I don't even remember what
Danger
they
Sense,
get.
I think.
No, Danger Sense is at 3rd level.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything big because it comes between extra attack and 7th level. 7th level is huge for barbarians because that's when they get advantage on initiative. Even if they're surprised, they can act in that round as long as they go into a rage. And when they go into a rage, as part of that
his
bonus
rage
action,
damage goes up.
Oh, and as part of entering the rage, that bonus action, you can move half your movement as part of that same bonus action.
Yeah, his rage damage goes up.
So yeah, I knew there. I knew he got
Which
something.
Means maybe his bonus damage die gets an extra one.
Yeah, but I also knew that it's between two really big things: extra attack and that you know, and the 7th level
and
stuff.
FCG cleric.
I'm not sure what sub. It's a domain ability. We don't know much about his domain, so
yeah, and usually it's a channel divinity option, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
6th level is the extra channel divinity option. 8th level is the
bonus short rest
cantrips. Yeah.
Channel divinity recharge now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think they leave Drusar until after the break at the earliest.
Yeah. It's prep time and then leaving.
Yeah. And we will see you guys next week.
Yes.
Where we will discuss episode 23. Have a good day.
Hey guys.